I've been in practice 39 years, and I have treated thousands of patients for general wellness therapy. What does that mean? That means that I'm looking for a lot of things that relate to disposition, outlook, and generally how somebody operates in life. And when you look a little deeper, that means, are they happy or not? I have a training, as well as being a holistic chiropractor, I have a training in classical homeopathy. And one of the most important things is mental outlook. What's the condition of the mind? Well, we look around today and we see the condition of most humans. Unfortunately, it's fairly sad. There is not a lot of happiness. So it was really interesting for me to realize, or to read, that I think in 2016 in the United Arabic Emirates, they created a minister of happiness. And of course, Bhutan became well known for trying to establish the policy of gross national happiness as opposed to gross national product. And they've been working on trying to establish measurements of that for a long time. It's very hard to measure happiness, really. It's not easy. They found that in Bhutan when they were trying to create an inventory of how to measure happiness. One of the simple things I see in my practice when I'm doing the assessment of floral uncut flower essences, which cause a transformation of consciousness, one of the things that I see is that I can find what people possess in their unconscious mind, the things that they're holding on to, that would eliminate happiness. And when we get rid of those things that prevent happiness, happiness prevails. That becomes the natural state of being. So what are the things that prevent happiness? Many of the videos that I've made on Floral Life talk about that. Lack of self-esteem, fear of abandonment, on and on. My book, The Floral Hand of God, Secret Healing Codes of Flowers Revealed, that was published in 2014, lists well over 100 of these common phrases that interfere with people's happiness. When you look into happiness or lack of happiness deeper, and I started doing that a lot in 2013, 2014, I went deeper and deeper into that, and I said, well, wait a minute. I was seeing a lot of people at that time that came in, they were wanting to see if they could get off of antidepressants. The number of people that are taking antidepressant medication is horrible, and when I look at someone very quickly, almost instantaneously, I can see that it looks like sort of a film over the eyes. There's something missing, and they're being numbed out from their pain. Now, at the appropriate time, of course, antidepressants can save lives, but it's not a long-term solution. And so we're not talking about antidepressants. That's a medical model. We're talking about happiness. That's how I developed this wonderful stuff that I called Smile. And I found that if you look very deeply, one of the biggest things that abolishes happiness is being associated with these heavy thoughts that are like depression. But if you go deeper than that, what's the cause of that? It's hopelessness. I realized by looking at people that were suffering very, very deep conditions that were not really even helped by medication, by drugs, there was a sense of hopelessness. And the more I started looking in that in 2013, 2014, I became convinced that something had to be found to get rid of this phrase that we can do when I test people clinically. The condition of the world is hopeless. I started testing that group of patients for that belief. The condition of the world is hopeless. And you'd be surprised as to, at the deepest level, how many people believe that. Smile was constructed through, as I mentioned in my book, sort of divine inspiration. I was guided to special places to find flower frequencies that abolish these deep sense of hopelessness. And that's one of the huge factors that can restore greater happiness in our life. One of the flowers comes from the Colorado area, the San Juan Mountains. And I prepared many essences in that area. But one special flower is, it reminds me of, immediately when I looked at it, as a temple. and I ended up just calling it fuchsia temple flower. It just reminds me, it took me immediately to a Shinto space somewhere in Japan. That image of that flower, it's just so deeply sacred, but it gets rid of the sense of sacrifice and other components that have to do with hopelessness. If one is stuck in a position where you know for life that you will be enslaved, or you'll have to sacrifice, or you have the belief that you're destined to poverty, and these are subconscious beliefs, but they are held as real, those cause hopelessness. So they have to be eliminated. And then I was guided to another region in the high Andes for another extraordinary flower that truly will get rid of this sense of hopelessness.
Off to the left is this amazing valley full of waterfalls. This is like an incredible wonderland. It's just inconceivably beautiful.
So when we put them all together, there are other flowers in this shamanic, I call those shamanic supportive flowers. There are many flowers in this blend of smile. When we put those all together, we can administer that literally by spraying around ourselves like this. And I talked about the quantum science in my book, The Floral Hand of God, the quantum science that explains how this can actually do something. It changes the free electron cloud, so-called aura, but it actually does it through quantum frequency interaction. And you can spray it in the mouth also. So we all need to smile more, and we all need to discover if we have any deep feelings of hopelessness. And I believe truly, if we look at ecology and we look at the world today, in many cases, in many areas, the condition of the world is hopeless. Doesn't mean I want to be unhappy, and life gets more fun with every passing month. The condition of the world, however, is in a very bad state. So when we recognize this psychically, unconsciously, it's hard on us. And this is a godsend to help us overcome that awareness. So I hope it helps you.